This is turkey work. This is a fun one. So we're going to take our thread, and this is like the one time we get to come down from the top of our fabric. And we're going to leave a little tail. And this is going to be the length that you want your turkey work to be. Actually, let me say it should be longer because we're going to be doing trimming, or you're going to have loops. So decide what you're doing. So here, I just want to pet it. Here's our tail. And I'm going to come up a little bit to the right of that tail on my guideline and go down a little bit to the left. And here we have secured it. So now when I pull on this tail, it's good. It's not going anywhere. All right. So we just keep doing that. So we're going to try our best to come up from under this previous stitch. And then we're going to go back down. And we're going to leave our loop. That looks good to me. So then again, I'm going to come up a little to the right. And I'm going to go down on the left, which happens to be in the same hole I used before. Like so. So what we end up getting is this row of back stitch with these little loops in between. Coming up underneath, going back down, leaving our loop. If you're going to leave them loopy, you want to make sure that they're exactly the right length you want them to be. If you're going to trim them, they don't have to be exact because you're going to trim them, right? We'll do one more here. Oops. Don't do that. If you do, you can just pull back up, pull your loop back out, and go down. You can finish there, or if you would like, you can come back up so it kind of mirrors how you've started. And trim here. So you can see that looks like this demonstration over here. It's exactly how I did it. If you want to trim it, what I like to do is I cut my loops first. And then I slowly trim because you can't undo it. It's like when you decide you want to cut your bangs, right? You don't just, you gotta just go slow. Very conservative with your trimming because it's easy to cut away more. Another thing you can do, you can wet these. It's And once again, just like when you do your bangs, you should wet your bangs first. But know that they might dry a little bit floofier. But if you wet them, you might be able to get them to lay a little bit more flat. So you can get them a little bit more even. All right, and if you have a lint roller nearby, we do. Lint rollers are great for this. Pull up all those extra little snipped bits of thread. So you can see there's still some work here to get those even. But I'm going to show you a couple other options here with our turkey work. So another way I like to do my turkey work is instead of using back stitch, I essentially use a split stitch. So the first one is a little weird because I can't really have this stitch be split. So the first one is going to have that back stitch. But then when I come up for my next stitch, instead of coming up under like I was doing before, I'm going to come up straight up. There we go. So I just pierced that. And then I come back down. All right. So again, here I do have to do that back stitch, but when I come back up, I'm doing the split stitch. And what that does, as you can probably tell, is that it is making my turkey work come out more towards us instead of lying more flat. So if you are doing a fringe and you want it to be laying flat like these, then definitely stick with that back stitch, like always having the back stitch kind of forcing the direction. If you want something more poofy like this, where your turkey work is sticking out towards you, it can help to do this instead, where we're piercing and then going down. I think last time I was doing it, it was the same stitch. I did that too. Okay, so we'll finish out, give it a trim, cut my loops, and they're all over the place, which may or may not be what you want, right? I'm gonna lay them down just so I can give them a little trim. Too much for the lint roller to handle. Give me your friends. Okay, so that one's a lot more chaotic, which may or may not be what you want. And then I just want to show here, like when I fill a shape, there's a couple ways to do that. Basically what I just demonstrated. So you can do it like this or do it like this, and let's see, how do I want to show this? You can either fill with like rows, right? Or you can do like an outline, and then you can do some kind of like spirally situation. You can start from the center and go out. There's a lot of different ways, but essentially what happens is it can get messy and it can stop looking like this. It can stop looking very uniform, and that's okay. I mean, if this is your end product where you just want this fuzzy mess, like I don't even know how many turkey work stitches are in here, and it really doesn't matter. I just wanted some fun puff, and that's what I got. So I will try to recreate this. And usually, I'm trying to think, what do I usually do? Usually I start right in the center, which doesn't actually make sense. But that's where my needle was telling me to go today. And I'm going to pierce. And down. So I'm making these really tiny because when you are doing like a poof situation, you need lots of turkey work stitches. So now I'm going to get the end of this weird row I've created, and I'm going to go up. It's just the most important thing to remember is just, every other stitch is going to be a tacking stitch like that. And then we come up, we make our loop, and we tack it down. And so here, I don't know if you can see, when I'm doing this tack down, I'm pushing, since now I'm like north of the center line, now I'm pushing, instead of pushing them up like this, I'm pushing them down. So what happens is we have from all sides kind of pushing towards the center. So I'll do the same here. And now I'm gonna kind of circle, I guess I'm doing a spiral. So now I'm gonna south of the center line. So here I'm doing my back stitch underneath to push my loop up. Split it. Same here. And I'm pretty much out of thread at this point. So I will let this go here. Let's see what we got here. Got some random thread just sitting around. We'll add another color. That'll be fun. So if you want to change colors, you can go down. You can go down anywhere. I'm just going to go down through here. Why not? Make it extra secure. And now I'm kind of twisting around with this loop to the next row. Pushing up again. And we could keep going, but let me just even this out. I'm gonna move to this side, so I'm actually gonna pierce through this stitch. But it doesn't matter, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. You can move around, you can reuse stitches. Those back stitches or split stitches, whatever you want to call them. I guess they are back stitches, but then we split them with the loops. But we can reuse them. I think I've been pretty good about making one stitch for every loop. But I think sometimes you can reuse them. As long as, I come here and I pull it, and it's not gone anywhere. It's very secure. All right, I think we should call this a day here. I'll tack that down. And I'm gonna pierce it for my last stitch here. And I'm just gonna do a massive haircut because I know I want this pretty short. It's funny because it has a stripe down the center. But sometimes what I try to do when I have these really round ones is I make it like a little bit shorter on the edges and then a little bit longer on the outsides. Or, sorry, I just said the same thing twice. A little bit shorter on the edges and then a little bit longer on the inside. Shape it like a ball. It's like those fancy shrubs people are really into. So you could really spend a lot of time making these perfect, or not. But they're fun. So yeah, you can make fun flowers, loopy flowers. You can have these puffy things be flower centers. Lots of ways to use turkey work. I'm just going to be here doing this. But I hope you have fun. Okay, I need to move on with my life.